It's early morning, past 7 o'clock actually. I really wanted to be out earlier than this, but I didn't wake up until 6. Got to doing other things yesterday, and it was past. You're not supposed to be falling over. Let's see if I can put you somewhere where you won't fall over. It was past Newfie boiling point, 25 degrees Celsius, by the time I got other things finished. And so I come out this morning now, and I'm going to weed out this mess. As I was saying in an earlier video, all of these, before they really overtake the beets that are here. See, once those weeds get their first true leaf, they're also a lot easier to get a hold of, to pull up. This is the kind of a day that I like to sit by the bed and pull up all small weeds, because I can just lay them in the between the rows like this, and they're just add to the mulch. They'll wilt right away now. The beets though are spaced out nicely, you see. We'll go down here, because you can see the bull's blood because of their dark colour. You can see how well the beets are spaced out. So that's wonderful. Now for the last pressing issue of 2022, we'll deal with these herb beds. After I get these cleaned out, everything else for the rest of the year is deciding on what is most productive at the time. I went close by with the mower, left this long here on the end because I wanted something big enough to really get a hold of and have something to pull the roots and all up with. I'm not a mushroom expert. In fact, I don't know a whole lot about mushrooms anyway. Slug is in it, but I think this is one of the edible mushrooms. And the first one that I've seen on the property. Oh, that didn't take all that long. Now I gotta work on the herbs And as I cut back the this thyme, I'll get more weeds from underneath it. You see this? So I didn't know if it was coming or not, but this is the Tarragon. Most of that green that you see there is Tarragon. So it's actually going to be quite the bush this year. And the sage is coming back nicely. That's going to be a huge bush this year. So back here, the only surprise was that the catmint or catnip, whichever it was. Anyway, yeah, last year it didn't come back as well as I thought it should, and this year the old plant is completely dead. I have a piece of plant growing down here, which I don't know what it is, so I'm going to wait and see. The parsley, they only grow for 2 or 3 years anyway, and then they die after they've done a good setting of seed. And throughout this area there is quite a few little parsley plants that I have to baby along and get to a big size plant. So I have area here that I had to fill in. Calendula I know is one of the plants that I'll put here, but I don't know what else. See a spot over there, spot here, and then all along here. This is where the parsley was initially, and of course the catnip. Want to get another catnip plant. I could probably buy the plant down at the nursery in Lewisport. For the first two, for the most part, it's just clipping off the old flower stalks from last year. Oh, this is a dandelion. Let's get that. Like you see, with the dandelion, you got to try to get hold of every leaf. Before you pull on it. So this is echinacea. You can apparently just twist the flower stalk and off it'll come. Now let's see what the St. John's wort. Can't do it with St. John's wort. You're going to have to clip them off. A couple of places I actually pull it up, and then I pull up roots and part of the living plant with it. Normally, we would have, this would be all covered in snow until at least the middle of March. And when the snow melt down, this will be sitting here green, and we wouldn't get any real cold weather afterwards. But this past winter, we didn't get a lot of snow to start with. And then it did melt, and we had cold weather after the snow melted. Now this is a surprise to me still, but yeah, we've got a lot of winter kill. Down here somewhere, there is a living bush. But it looks like by the time I got all the dead stuff cut off it, he's not going to be a very big one. I have something planted somewhere else. Remember, this is where I took the piece off last year, and I planted it out by one of the other trees. Well, this front end, pretty much the only place I seen stuff alive. See, coming from here and all the way along here, and it looks like there's a little bit back right there coming up. So I'll leave this in the open. Oh, there's a bit right there. So some coming up from the roots on this end and along right there. I'm going to give this a light coating in compost. I'll dust some compost down among this, but those ends will probably still be sticking up, and we'll see what comes up from the roots back there. But yeah, it'll grow out again now. I'm just wondering if, rather than trimming along the hedge, should I have thinned that out on a regular basis. Look at snails. So as I said, most of this here is tarragon. I think most of it. There's some other weeds, but I have to pick among it and decide which is tarragon and which is weeds. That's a fairly good plant. It'll grow up nicely. This one, the lavender, had a similar issue. Last year, I thought I'd get this looking in a nice form, and then, well, winter ruined my plans on that for having a nicely formed lavender this year, hey? So let's see how far that dead part goes back. You see, I check it. There's no green. See, this one has a bit of green on the end, and there's leaves starts right there. So this is what I'm doing, and just now checking every one. You know, you see, I clipped that one, and he has green on him. So I don't know how far back I want to cut this. Oh, this one has some coming out right on the end. Looks like this is going to come alive. So I'm not so sure about cutting back this one. No, that was obviously dead. Maybe that's what I should do. Just see what's brittle. If it's brittle, then it's obviously dead, right? See all of those pieces I scratched right into the bottom. There's no green. But I think I'll leave that at that now and see what becomes, because some of the stuff that looks like it's dead is actually slowly greening up. And if I scratch the bark, I see green underneath. This is broadleaf sage. It is a little more tender than the other ones, so it smells nice. Even this dead dried up stuff. I'm not surprised of getting some winter kill, but it is coming out nicely, so I think I should just pull back these dead leaves first and then size up to see what actually is dead here. So I don't think it dies back to the ground. See, when it's all brittle like that, it's obviously lifeless, right? So that's what the sage looks like above now. He's hollow in the center and a ring out around. With that one branch down right there, and all of the living stuff come up from the old branches that already were. There is some coming very close to the ground, but I've never seen anything that I noticed coming up out of the ground. Now I don't exactly know what's going to happen here. This is the French thyme, and as you can see, the lovage is quickly growing up and becoming quite a shade on it. So will I have to move this one again? That's a question I can't answer right now. However, it looks like the only live growth is on this side. And everything that was shaded out. So on this, and now I moved this one down here. He was up by the green lemon thyme. And the green lemon thyme was growing faster than this one, and had it all. It was just bearing it. So I had to bring it out, give it some more light so it would grow better. But now, like I say, should I just continually harvest up the side of the lemon balm and so that this gets more light, or will I have to move this? Right now I'm thinking that I'll harvest this side of the lemon balm, of the lovage, so that it's not shading out the thyme. That's what's on my mind. More to him than there was to the green lemon thyme. This is the only thing left that didn't come back really all that well. If I can get myself in a comfortable position there. This is the oregano. But it's coming back. I just gotta get all this stuff, growth off the top here, and you'll be able to see it. Now, see, the thing is, it hasn't grown up very much yet. And I cut down all that older stuff, rake out the leaves that are among it. Then I can get out these little weeds. And the weeds will grow up in here during the summer when this gets higher. And I got myself cut, but I don't know where or out. When this gets up higher, then I won't be able to get out all of these weeds. So over the summer, I'll just be picking off the green that pokes above the foliage. And then next spring I'll do the same thing. And so what I'll do now, because this is all poking above the ground, I'll just bring the compost in right tight around the circle, and then trust to the worms to put the nutrients all through. So it's looking good, you see. Like I say, here's my oregano. It's all coming up from the ground level, and that'll be quite a big bush here now before long. The chives are doing excellent, and the savoury, and the 2 lavender down the end. And that's the only thing I have of any size in this bed. But when I put on the compost, I've got to make sure I don't cover up all those little seedlings that I'm wanting to save. It's the next morning now, but that's just because I sifted some compost out, and I got down, we had rain a few days ago, and compost holds on to water for a long time. So it's just the top layer was dry. I sifted that out, and then I decided to wait until a little bit of what was left got dry before I continued. Now what I've got done here, I've got some sticks put in where there's the new parsnip, the new parsley, and there's actually some chamomile growing up in this bed, but I'm not going to worry about the chamomile so much. It's mostly the parsley I don't want to cover up. So I put the sticks in there so that I can see where it is, and then I can just lay out the compost and slowly push it in. Around the plant. I'm not going to put an overly thick layer on here. This bed has actually been very well mended. That might be enough for this end. Pretty much just making the bed look nice actually by putting the compost on top. I'm going to drop a little bit more right there. I had that little bit done last night. I gotta put some over by the oregano. I think this was the angle I come at it before I started. If not, I'll come back out and get the proper angle, and then we can have a before and after side by side. got a sore foot. I think I need a new insole for my hikers. I got my runners on now. At any rate, so we got our echinacea, St. John's wort. I planted 3 dill here. I had those 3 dill in cups, so I planted them there. This is a chives. This is onion chives. And when my garlic chives get to be a fairly big clump, I'm going to split the clump and replace that clump with garlic chives. And like I said, now this it's green lemon thyme. It will regrow back now, and I think I should keep it more thinned out so that there's green throughout the entire plant. And of course my trimmings is what I'll take to bring into dry or use fresh or whatever. The tarragon seems to be coming up nicely. We've got all the dead cut out of this lavender here now. We were dead in the center of the broadleaf sage, but it seems to be doing beautifully. And this thing, remember last year it was up taller than me. It's going to be huge. But now I can harvest any of the side leaves, any of this any time of the year, and use it as a pot herb. Just throw it in soup for a celery type flavor. Or I can dry out the leaves and powder them, and you can have it celery powder that you can like put on toast or whatever. There's the green lemon thyme. He's all the side toward the lovage had died, but it's doing good with what's there. Here's 2 other lavender. I can't remember. I think there's a purple and a white, and these 2 are one color, and the one over there is the other color. So you can see now the few parsley that's growing. The one plant that I don't know what it is yet, so I'm going to leave it there and let it grow a bit. There is 2 or 3 chamomile showing above the compost, so I might have a bit of chamomile in this bed. And I'm going to plant cilantro and calendula in here. And I'm hoping that the nursery will have a plant already for me of catmint, because I like that for sleepy time tea, and that was the only plant I had. This is winter savory. The chives are looking beautifully here, 6 of them. And like I said, after next month, this will be oregano will be a nice sized bush. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See, I have just 1 spot left now of the already made garden beds that needs quite a bit of TLC, but I'm not going to worry about it so much this year. That's over there by where the compost bins are. But this is looking beautifully now, and I'm happy with it. Hope you are. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.